What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Today is Friday. That means Zur is back in the tower. He's hanging out right over here. We're going to take a look at his inventory and see what he's got. First of all, for the Titans, we got the Glass House helmet. Now, I like this helmet. The main perk on it is Bathed in Light. Blessing of Light and Weapons of Light last longer. For PvE, this can be pretty handy because it allows you to roam further away from a Titan bubble and still keep the Blessing of Light or Weapons of Light, which can be very useful. However, in the content we have right now, especially the raid, I don't find myself straying that far from the bubble. So for the most part, I don't use the Glass House right now a whole lot. In some strikes, it can be useful. You can pop a bubble in the middle, go roaming around with your Weapons of Light and kill stuff really fast. But right now, even though I like this helmet, I just don't find it's all that useful. In PvP, it could be useful having Blessing of Light last a little bit longer while you're roaming around a Crucible arena. Could be okay, but you can definitely find better PvP exotics for your Titan. Secondary perks on this include increased strength, increased intellect, hands-on, second thoughts, and invigoration. Next up, for the Hunter, we've got Capri's Sting. The main perk on this is Touch of Venom. Gain invisibility after crouching in place for a short time, and melee attacking an enemy from behind while invisible delivers 4x damage. Melee attacks apply a lingering damage effect. This one's a tough one. Because it's got two main perks. The first one is invisibility. This allows you or your hunter to go invisible even if he's playing a Night Stalker or a Gunslinger. So you don't have to be a Blade Dancer to go invisible. This can be handy in certain PvE areas, although it was more handy before. In older content, it seemed to be more necessary or more useful to go invisible. Right now, there aren't a whole lot of situations where going invisible is really beneficial. I will say that if you're standing on a platform in the final fight of the Oryx fight, it can be helpful to be able to go invisible. But the second part is melee attacking an enemy from behind while invisible delivers 4x damage. This is just too rare an occurrence. It's too hard to make it happen, and it's not all that useful. By the time you run up to somebody, get behind them, and hit them with your melee, you could have hit them with a sniper shot or with heavy weapons. It just doesn't seem worth the risk of running up behind somebody. And you know, if it's a boss, if it's somebody you actually want to do 4x damage to, he's going to have a pretty strong melee himself that he's going to activate as soon as he gets hit. So it's not all that useful in my opinion. So Capri's Sting in PvP, it could be useful. Crouching, you can be pretty sneaky by running around and being invisible. But I'm going to say pass on this unless you're a collector. I just don't find it to be all that useful. Increased discipline, increased strength, switchblade, impact induction, hand cannon loader, and fusion rifle loader. Next up, for the Warlocks, we got the Sunbreakers. This was the gauntlets that always were sold to Warlocks from Zur in year 1. They've been improved for year 2. Helium cycle now increases the duration of your solar grenade while gaining an additional solar grenade charge. These are underappreciated. Solar grenades are pretty good. They're good at zone denial in PvP. They're very good at burning down bosses in PvE. If you had Viking Funeral, it's even better. And having 2 of them instead of just 1 of them really does increase the utility of these things. I would highly recommend this. At least try it out. Try using a solar grenade next time Control comes around in Iron Banner. They can be very effective at denying an area to your enemies in PvP and burning down enemies in PvE. I would definitely pick these up for your Warlock if you haven't got them already. Increased intellect, increased discipline, energy projection, impact induction, scout rifle loader, and fusion rifle loader are the secondary perks. Next up, for a weapon this week, we have Universal Remote, and this is a super fun shotgun, and I think underappreciated a little bit. So the main perk on this is Universal Remote. Range and damage increase greatly while aiming down the shot. So you're going to see that this has pretty middling stats for a shotgun. Once you activate Universal Remote, though, it actually is a pretty deadly shotgun for PvP. So you're going to see a lot of people running around with these in PvP. The main benefit being that it's a primary weapon. So this is the only shotgun that is a primary weapon. And because it's a primary weapon, you're just getting more ammo. So if you like to run around with a shotgun as a primary, This is really your gun because you just get more ammo for it. And even though the stats don't look as good as they could be, because of the perks, they're actually better than you think. So the ballistics on this, we got smooth ballistics, we got soft ballistics, and we got CQB. You're probably going to want to stick with smooth to keep that range as high as possible. Crowd control comes in handy if you do happen to start scoring some multi-kills in PvP or in PvE. Hammer Forge gives you a bit more range, lightweight, and snapshot. I would definitely stick to Hammer Forge. And finally, Universal Remote really gives you that extra precision damage and range. I highly recommend this. I think it's super fun to use in PvE. You can go double shotguns and swords for a nightfall with your friends. That's a really fun challenge to do. Shotgun plus sniper in PvP or PvE is really fun to do. This is just a fun gun to use, and I highly recommend at least picking it up, seeing if you like it. If you don't, at least you have a little bit of fun playing with it. Next up, we've got the Legacy Engram this week. It is a chest Engram, so you can buy this for 29 strange coins. Take a shot at getting a year 1 chest Engram exotic, and if it's a one that's gone into year 2, you can also buy it from the exotic armor kiosk in the tower. Next for curios, we got the Emerald Coil and the Void Drive. If you want to change your blue rare sparrow to a legendary status and change the color of its contrail, this will do that for you. You can buy some heavy ammo either to keep you equipped during the raid or to turn into factions to up your level in the factions. 3 of coins, glass needles, and finally motes of light. So not a bad week, I think. Some pretty useful stuff. Khepri Sting, I know there's going to be some people out there who tell me how useful Khepri Sting is. I found it fairly useful in year 1, especially in the Dark Below, and somewhat during House of Wolves, but I just don't see a whole lot of use for it right now. Sunbreakers, I swear to God, Xur was trolling the Warlocks last year by just constantly selling Sunbreakers, and the Glass House situationally can be very useful. But I just think there's probably better exotics to use for a Titan in most situations. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. Stay tuned to this channel where I'll be talking a lot about the rise of iron in a video later today. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.